Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Inside Now. This is our top 100 wrestler series. We are now to 92. We're going to do 92 and 91 on this program. We missed it last week because we did a tribute to Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. I will go ahead and start. Number 92 is one of Lucha Libre's most, I think, probably in the United States. Maybe not in Mexico, but in the United States, one of the number one wrestlers, Lucha Libre wrestlers that came to the United States, and that's Mil Mascaras. I just believe he deserved to be in that. You know, it's funny because I read a couple of things about Mil Mascaras. Now, he has not actually, for years, he's not been the most liked person because they said he would never do any selling and he would not go he could not be beaten. So I don't know. Is this true, Jack?
That's everything I've heard.
Rodney, have you heard this about Mil Mascaras?
My question is, have you ever seen a video where he was beat?
This is true. Yes.
I haven't.
So it's probably true, but let me just read just a little bit about Mil Mascaras. The man of 1,000 masks was one of the industry's top stars, if I could speak tonight, top stars of the 60s and 70s, and one of the most celebrated mask performers of all time. Now, I agree with that. Mil Mascaras made his professional wrestling debut in April 1965. Mascaras became popular in Mexico for being one of the best conditioned luchadors in the heavyweight division. It was also his size which permitted him to wrestle in the U.S. and Japan under the heavyweight division. Mil Mascaras, by the way, always had this little dance when he would go to lock up. Me and Rodney always said, there goes more of his ballet, if you remember Mil Mascaras. Mascaras made his international wrestling debut in 1968 at the Olympic Auditorium in Los Angeles, getting involved in rivalries against the likes of Ernie Ladd, John Tolos, Black Gordman, and Goliath. Mascaras performed for All Japan Pro Wrestling during the 70s. In his Japanese debut on February 19, 1971, he defeated Kantora Hashino. I'm probably not getting that name right. In Tokyo. It was during this time that he had his best-known international feud with the American masked wrestler, The Destroyer. Now, I would have probably liked to have seen that. I believe he might have did. I don't know. He may have got beat by the Destroyer. I'm not for sure. I can't see Dick Breyer going, no, I don't think so. I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen there, Mil. In 1974, Mascaras was world champion for a short-lived, very exciting promotion. I did not write this, by the way. They said that it says it's a short-lived but very exciting promotion of International Wrestling Association. Would you consider that exciting or?
No, we have seen the tapes.
That's right.
All right, I just want to make sure.
And he still bills himself as the IWA World Heavyweight Champion. Still has the belt.
Does he still have? He took that belt. He never was defeated.
Never returned it.
Which promoted New York City area. He had major title offenses at the Roosevelt Stadium in Jersey City, New Jersey, against top competitors such as Ivan Koloff and Ernie Ladd. Mil Mascaras appeared in the World Wrestling Federation, now called WWE. He performed in Madison Square Garden several times after a ban on masked wrestlers was lifted for him. It was lifted for him, making him the first masked wrestler in the Garden. He defeated the Spoiler, who was not permitted to wear his mask. So that means Don Jardine wrestled as mask. During this time, he feuded with the superstar Billy Graham over the WWF World Heavyweight Championship. Mascaras also wrestled in World Championship Wrestling, where his most notable match was a match with Cactus Jack at the Clash of Champions Texas Shootout on February 6, 1990. I wasn't watching. I was actually there, I believe, but I don't think I was watching the show. I don't think I was at that clash. I think was just working for him at the time. But as I told Grizzly Smith, I don't watch the program, so I did not know what was going on. In the Memorial Coliseum in Corpus Christi, Texas, on September 10th, 1991, at the age of 49, Mascaras won the WWA Mexico World Heavyweight Championship. He held the title until 1994 and assumed a state of semi-retirement after his final reign. Mil Mascaras. But I believe he does deserve, because he's probably the only Mexican wrestler of that time period of the 60s and 70s that became a big star in the United States and did draw a lot of money in the United States. Jack, your thoughts on Mil Mascaras?
Well, there you go. I like to watch him. I did. I did like to watch him. I thought he was exciting. The more I get to know about him, the less I would ever want to book him on the show. But as far as from a fan perspective, he definitely deserves to be in the top 100.
Rodney?
Now, did he make mine?
Rodney Mil Mascaras.
If I was the promoter, I would have dressed somebody up in his mask and he'd have done that one way or the other.
I give him the props because he was an attraction in the United States for many years. You put Mil Mascaras on the card, people would would pay to come see Mil Mascaras. But he was the first guy that did all the stuff that he did, all the flips and the flops in the United States.
So what we can say is that Mil gave us today's WWE.
Probably so. Yes, you can give him there. And Vince and them did not pay me to put my Mil Mascaras on my top 100 list. So, all right, Jack, number 92 on your list, top 100 wrestlers.
Johnny Mantell.
Johnny Mantell. Yes, I agree. I think Rodney's already put Johnny Mantell on his list.
That's right. We got a flip flop there.
Yep.
That's okay.
So Johnny Mantell on Jack's list. Why Johnny Mantell, Jack? I think we talked about it, but
honestly, back when he was wrestling, I never got an opportunity to see Johnny Mantell. And it's only over the last few years that I've gone back through the greatness of YouTube and been able to see a lot of the matches. And if there was ever a large ship that was missed by professional wrestling, Johnny Mantell was on that boat.
Yeah.
I mean, he had everything it took to be a major star, but was never utilized. And that is a shame.
Yeah. Rodney, what do you think about John Mantell?
Yeah, well, I already put him in my list. So he was already there. So
well, can I ask you a question? Mil Mascaras.
Yes, what about him?
Is he on or off your list?
He is not on my list.
He is not on his list. It's the first time.
If I had a ballet list, he might be on it.
Johnny Mantell. That's
awesome.
Really, he is an awesome wrestler.
And Jack's absolutely right. He should have got a bigger push.
Yeah. All right, Rodney. Number 92 on your list.
Number 92, Japanese superstar. Tenryu. Number 92.
Yes, I'll go
just
for
an
that.
awesome wrestler. We met him in Georgia way back when. I believe it was 78, I think. And of course, he was there to learn the American style of wrestling, and then goes back to Japan and becomes not just a superstar in Japan. Tenryu. And I believe he married Bobby's daughter as well.
I believe he did.
Yeah. I don't have him on my list, but he certainly belongs on the top 100 list. I mean, I got to see him in Georgia. I thought he was excellent. I thought he's had a dynamic career. Again, my list is more towards my own just personal choices of who I grew up watching or who I've become a fan of over the last, 10, 15, 20 years of being in the industry, and meeting up with a lot of these guys. But Tenryu, great. Absolutely great.
Tenryu does deserve to be in there. Just don't have him take him to Six Flags and let him ride anything that goes around in the circle. He will not enjoy that at all. The roller coasters he really enjoys, but do not put him in something.
No more this. No
right.
this.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead now. And before we talk to the insiders, we're going to go ahead and do number 91. Number 91 on my list, Jerry Stubbs / Mr. Olympia, the Matador. I believe one of the greatest wrestlers. I mean, he is so superb in what he does. Not known all over the world, but Jerry Stubbs certainly belongs there. Let me read just a little bit about Jerry Stubbs really quick. During Jerry Stubbs' first full year in professional wrestling, he would wrestle Georgia. He would wrestle in Texas, Tennessee, and the Carolinas. On March 14th, 1976, Jerry Stubbs would meet the man who would become the WWF heavyweight champion, Bob Backlund, in Macon, Georgia, at the Coliseum. This was in 1976, way before. Plus, the next month, he would meet Backlund in Rome and Atlanta, Georgia. Stubbs also wrestled Ricky Steamboat, Dean Ho, Rick Martel, Skandar Akbar, Pak Song, and Jimmy Valiant in almost his first year in wrestling. In 1977 and 1978, Stubbs continued spending his Georgia time wrestling Stan Hansen, Dirty Dick Slater, Randy Savage, Abdullah the Butcher. Stubbs would also start getting a lot of wins during his matches in 1977. Now, 1976, when he first started, didn't get many wins. Lost a lot of his matches in 1976. In 1978, Stubbs began taking more matches in the Mid-Atlantic territory. Although Stubbs won most of the matches from Mid-Atlantic, they were usually against lower card wrestlers such as Bill White, Bob Marcus, Frank Multi, but Jerry was learning his craft by wrestling every day. In October of 1978, he would make his way to Tri-States Championship Wrestling, Louisiana and Mississippi. He would get a pretty good push there during that time, and he would win his first title on December 25th, 1978 at the Louisiana Superdome in New Orleans. Jerry Stubbs defeated the Assassin One for the Louisiana Heavyweight Championship. He would hold the title until April 21st, 1979, when he lost the title to Mike George at the Louisiana Superdome in New Orleans. In 1980-81, he made his way to Southeastern Championship Wrestling. At first, in the Knoxville division, he would wrestle as the Masked Matador and win the NWA Southeastern Tag Team Championship with his cousin, Mike Stallings. He also won the NWA World Junior Heavyweight Championship. A lot of people might not know this, but he is a former NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion from Les Thornton on January 1981 as Jerry Stubbs on the Dothan end of Southeastern Wrestling. By mid-year of 1981, he wrestled as the Masked Olympian and won the NWA Southeastern Heavyweight Championship. Stubbs then returned to Mid-South Promotion in 1982 and began wrestling there as Mr. Olympia. He would team with the Junkyard Dog, Olympia, and JYD, won the area's tag team title by defeating the Wild Samoans in May of 1982. The tandem lost the title to a team known as the Rat Pack. Ted DiBiase and Matt Warden in late October 1982, where either JYD or DiBiase would leave the Mid-South territory. Olympia turned on JYD and joined DiBiase to win the Mid-South Tag Team title from Wrestling 2 and Tiger Conway Jr. in April 83 in Shreveport, Louisiana. Mr. Olympia would have a long-standing feud with Mr. Wrestling 2. The feud between Mr. Wrestling 2 and Mr. Olympia drew large gates in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Oklahoma. In 1984, he teamed regular with Arn Anderson, or Arn.
Yes.
They would hold the Southeastern Tag Team title several times. In 1986, Stubbs won the area's most prestigious title, the New Continental Championship. He traded the title back and forth with Brad Armstrong throughout much of the year. Brad and Jerry had great matches, maybe the best of 1986 in Continental Wrestling. Jerry would go on to team with the Dirty White Boy, Tony Anthony, to feud with the Nightmares, Danny Davis, and Ken Wayne. Again, he would have the best matches. In 1987 in Continental Wrestling with the Nightmares, Jerry Stubbs, phenomenal wrestler. Jack, what do you think about Jerry?
If you ever saw Jerry and didn't put him in your top 100, not much of a wrestling fan. I'm telling you. Jerry was absolutely fantastic in every role that he played. He was so good in the ring. He was so good on the mic. He was just a pleasure to be around. Definitely top 100 guy.
Rodney, Jerry Stubbs.
Jerry Stubbs, yeah, he's got to be on there. Great. In any match, just about any match that you saw Jerry in, it was going to be a great match. Jerry Stubbs definitely on there.
All right, Rodney. Number 91 on your list.
He was a Hollywood blonde, and then later on became one of the fabulous Freebirds, Buddy Roberts. That is mine.
I agree with Buddy Roberts. Watched some videos of Buddy Roberts today. I would agree with that. Jack, Buddy Roberts.
I love Buddy Roberts. I akin him more to tag team wrestling than singles wrestling, and that is the only reason he didn't make my top 100 list. But Buddy was great. I only had the opportunity to meet him a couple of times, And maybe one of these days, off with the supporters, when we're not recording, I'll tell some stories that he told at Terry's funeral that absolutely were some of the funniest things I've ever heard in my life, but not for Mixed Company.
All right, Jack. Number 91 on your list.
91, Pistol Pez Watley.
Yes,
Yes.
I agree with Pistol Pez Watley, one of the greatest of all time. I believe, Rodney, I think he got your, he went
Yeah, I had him at number 95. Number 95.
95 on his list. That's what I'm trying to say. A top 100 list is suggestive of what you believe top 100, because some people might not even know, not even know who Pistol Pez Watley is in professional wrestling, especially if you wasn't in the South, because he didn't wrestle a lot up north, so you would know more of in the Southern territories. All right, let's go see what the ends. Go ahead, Rodney.
No, go ahead.
No, you was going to say
I
something.
was going to say, positioning on the list really is irrelevant until we get to the top 10, as far as I'm concerned. Just making the list is something for me right at this point.
All right, Joel Bateman says, "Hi everyone. Jason Mundy is with us as well. Hey everyone. I hope all is well with everybody. Michael Barr is with us. How you doing, Michael? Joe Hamblin. Good evening, guys. Hope everyone is doing good. Michael is with us as well. How you doing? Charles says number 92. Charles Bellflower, number 90. Raymond Torres. I would agree with that. I never saw him wrestle too much. I did see videos of him, and he was tremendous. Jack, what do you think about Ramon Torres? I guess
Ramon Torres, yeah. What I've seen, I thought he was great. I just never got to see enough of him.
Rodney?
Well, I really never got to see him. I just know his name. We had him in the programs. We asked Dad about him. He said that he was just tremendous wrestler.
I think there were two other Torres
brothers,
right?
Yes,
yeah.
Torres brothers. Yeah.
So yes, I agree with that, Charles. Mil Mascaras up high on my list. Joel Bateman says he's higher on the list, not on Rodney's at all. So didn't he make a ballet? Yes, but he did not. That's a different list that we do on a different show. Mike Burris, one of the best masked men. I would agree with about that. Number 92 from Daniel Lang. Number 92 from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the two-time AWA World Heavyweight Champion, the man who retired, Sammartino, retired Bonkwinkel, the living legend of professional wrestling, Larry Zbyszko. I will agree with Larry Zbyszko. I believe that Larry Zbyszko is further down on my list, but I do believe he should be there. Jack, Larry Zbyszko.
Absolutely. Love Larry.
Rodney?
He may be on there. Could be.
Well, that means he's on the list. We have learned his deal now, that if he says he's may or may not. Now, if he just flat out says, like Mil Mascaras, not part of his list, then we know that he might be on there somewhere.
Or may not be.
Rodney is. That's just the way Rodney rolls, as we say in the old time. Mil Mascaras for Michael Barr was in a movie or two as well.
Yes.
You know, I don't know that Mil Mascaras was a huge star like he was in the United States, but I think El Santo might have been maybe the number one Lucha Libre, and then Blue Demon, I think, was another huge. La Parca. There was a lot of people that in Mexico that was tremendous stars over there. I believe El Santo might have done more movies than Mil Mascaras, but I believe they might have done a few together.
Yeah, and they did. And
whoop.
Did you just knock him off, Brent?
No, I didn't knock him off. I don't know what happened to him all at once.
Well, how rude. Oh, and he returns.
All right, there you go, Jack. Go ahead and finish your comment.
I just said he might have been number 2 to El Santo over there, but he was a huge star with the movies over there.
Yeah, and by the way, they would not take their mask off for anybody. Just recently, Blue Demon, I think it might be Blue Demon Jr., is doing something for Disney, and he wouldn't remove his mask to even go in to do his parts. They put him inside the studio, and they had to make a big. And he said, "That's all right. I'll just go home." not taking my mask off. And that's how much the mask means to those people, to everybody in Mexico. And you can't blame them. That's the way they make their living. And I still have my number 93. Number 93 is Bearcat Brown. My number 290, Lorenzo Parente. Was he not one of the Infernos at one point? Or maybe the Interns or something? We'll have to look that up. But I agree with both of those. How about you guys?
Yes.
Yep.
Joe Bateman, Buddy Roberts.
See?
Number 92. Number 92, Buddy Roberts got that. So matches there with. Hello, all. I am not a big fan with the Mascaras, and I hear he's a bit conceited, refusing to do honors for people. Yes, just a little bit. Yes, it's, but I'm not. I'm not trying to be. I'm not trying to get it personal with the things he did. In a fan's perspective, you didn't know what Mil Mascaras did behind the scenes. That's what I'm looking at. Because there's going to be a lot of people on the list I wouldn't even put on the list if I might not like them personally. but
is that the way you're supposed to be doing this? I didn't know that.
Oops.
Greetings and salutations. What did they say that was? What did they say they?
Gilf. I believe
my nominee is Dig the Bulldog Brower. I'll go for that.
Power. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Didn't see a lot of them. I got to see more videos in the last few years. I did watch them, and he was tremendous. So many people, I believe, tried to pattern themselves after Bulldog Brower. I think Bulldog Bob Brown might have tried to do that. I'm not even for sure. I think Bruiser Brody might have even done a little bit over that. But and also, who was the guy in Florida that was a manager for a long period of time, but he wrestled as well? King Curtis. King Curtis. I think a lot of people pattern themselves after him as well. If you've never seen an interview by King Curtis, tremendous. Man could do an interview,
and he can wrestle. There, if you look up World Championship Wrestling from Australia, he is on there in a big way. King Curtis, his wrestling and everything is. Really
anyone seen Mascaras lose a match? I don't think I have, but I will tell you, we can find us a Mil Mascaras action figure, and we'll right here on this program we'll let him do his first job. That's.
Didn't they do the thing in Memphis where Mascaras got stretchered out, and we've concluded that was a not legit Mascaras?
I don't know.
That would be the way I do it.
Sebastian Rayner said, I wasn't born until 77, but I like hearing you guys talk about wrestling anyways. Well, there's some of those people that you should know, but you were born in 77, so you're probably. When did you start watching wrestling, Sebastian? When did you start watching it? And we can throw some
just for a time reference. I graduated in 1977.
I was 7 years old in 1977. Rodney was 9 years old in 1977. Glenn Allen, how you doing, sir? Daniel Lang is saying number 91, the 9-year veteran, the American Football League, 5-time United States heavyweight champion, plus 4-time NWA World Tag Team champion, the Choctaw Chickasaw Big Chief Wahoo McDaniel. Yes,
Daniel can put together some announcements. Can he?
He can. Daniel, we need to have him write something for us every week, and let's do it right here on the show. Daniel, you need to start being a writer for us, and we'll just read what you put together for us.
He's good. That's really good.
Yeah, it is. Joel Bateman, Mil Mascaras, just turned 79 years old a few days ago.
And undefeated.
And he's no selling that. And probably walking around his house with his stomach sucked in.
Victor Nash. Oh, I guess it'd help if I hit the button first. Victor Nash. Hello, all. My number 93, the pride of Carolina's Don Kernoodle. Number 92, Little Tokyo. Victor, I'm going to be honest with you. No little people made my list, but you know what? Little Tokyo deserves to be on the list.
He was good. Yeah. He was really good.
Yep.
What do you think, guys? I mean, we don't a lot of times give them the credit they deserve. But Little Tokyo, Lord Littlebrook, Chief Little Beaver, I think was his name, wasn't
Yes.
it? Chief Little. So many that deserve to be there, and we don't even give them the recognition. It's just,
I agree. I love the little people. They were great. They weren't always great to be around because they like pranks, but
we were.
But I loved them. Yeah.
There was a guy, and I think his name was Cowboy something. It was in Mid-South Wrestling, and our father told us a story that one of the wrestlers, and I can't remember which one it was, kept on giving this guy down the road. And he was, he's a little guy, kept on giving him down the road, and he looked at him and said, "Buddy, if you keep that up," he said, "you're gonna have a problem." And he kept on doing it. And this little guy was probably 4 foot. Our father said he actually climbed up that guy's leg and started pounding him right in the face. And he said he just kept on pounding him and pounding him and pounding him. And they had to pull this guy 4 foot off this 6'2" wrestler because he was whipping us. He was whipping him. And Dad said, I was just sitting there watching it. So, well, he had that coming. And he said, but that boy, that he was tough. And he said nobody messed with him after that. Michael Barr said, I don't really know how you say that name? San Luis Potisi? Is that how you would say his name?
I guess.
He's just giving him, I'm guessing, that Mil Mascaras. Paul said you're freezing up. Oh, no, we're not freezing up. Jack's just going in and out. I believe Mil Mascaras got a little mad because he ain't on Jack's top 100 list and Rodney's. And he's taking care of it down there or up
If
there.
I go out again, it's because I'm just about to say it didn't make my top 200 either.
Number 93, Mr. Fuji. Yes, I will go Mr. Fuji. Number 1 prankster, Mr. Fuji. He plays.
Oh, I like to make them suffer. Make them suffer. Love that.
I always like Mr.
Oh, boy, son, make them suffer. Yes.
Michael Barr, Dickie Steinborn, number 92 on his list. Yes. Charles said number 91, Paul DeMarco. I've seen some matches of him. Man, he was tremendous. Truly a tremendous wrestler. Joel Bateman, Nick Bronquickle is higher on my list than Hulk Hogan. And probably should be. And that's I would venture to say that Hulk Hogan is on all of our list. Maybe not Rodney's, but Rodney's looking around. Well, folks, in about 90 weeks, 80 weeks, somewhere around there, we'll know whether or not Rodney has put Hulk Hogan on his list. Because he may or may not be on that list.
He may or may not be on the list. That's correct.
Michael Barr, Jerry Stubbs, a wrestler who is well known in the Southeast. Yes, Jerry drew a lot of money in.
And Jerry, let's be frank here. If it wasn't for health issues, Jerry would have been on the main networks, cable networks. He would have been a huge star if it wasn't for the health issues.
Yeah. I agree with you. Jason Amundi, Stubbs was vastly underrated. He would have been a worldwide superstar. He had traveled outside the South. He could have been a world champion. I would agree with you. Drew a lot of money. He drew money in Louisiana. He drew money in Alabama, Florida. Wherever he went, he did very well. Joe Bateman, number 91, Nikolai Volkov. Did he make your list, Jack, Nikolai Volkov?
No, he did not.
Rodney, I'm not going to ask you, but what do you think about Nikolai Volkov?
Nikolai was good at his time. I mean, he fit in right in the 90s or so. He fit, or 80s, when he came to be because the Road Warriors, and he fit right in with that brand at the time. Sure.
I like Nikolai Volkov. He was always a funny person in the dressing room. Dad always said he would get over there and he'd say, you know what, Bill Watts he's a very good guy. I got some good payoffs from him. You know, I even have to pay for my house. Truly a great guy, but don't get me wrong, he sucks. That's what Nikolai would say about everybody. I always had that story, no matter where he was at. Mickey Mayfield. My picks this week, Muta and the Great Kabuki.
Yep.
I will go with both of them. I don't know that Kabuki made my list. I believe Muta might had. So y'all agree with those two guys?
Definitely belong there, yeah.
Sure.
Charles Alford is with us. How you doing, Charles? Michael Barr. I would put Jerry Stubbs, Mr. Olympia at 91. You're going to put Mr. Olympia at 91. Joe Hamley, love Jerry Stubbs, one of my favorite. Kevin said he does have mascara eyes, he just don't know why. Based on, if you were not looking and hearing stuff on the internet about Mel Mascaras, and we didn't have an internet, and we didn't know what was going on as far as that goes, I don't know that you wouldn't put Mel Mascaras on a list no matter what. Same thing will go with Hulk Hogan and a lot of guys that people talk about and what they say about them on the internet now. I think it kind of diminishes the guys just a tad because we didn't know all the stuff that people have said about Hulk Hogan. We wouldn't know that he might not have been the nicest person. But I never heard that until the last few years. But hey, maybe they were rewriting history, or they just didn't want to tell the true story because he was afraid he would blackball him somewhere.
Let me be very clear. I have never heard of these bad stories about Mil Mascaras. Never heard them. I've only seen him work.
Now, as a Lucha Libre star, probably very good.
As I said, I've never heard of those stories. I've only seen him work.
Stubbs versus Brad Armstrong over the U.S. Junior Heavyweight title was a great feud, Daniel Lang. Michael Barr, Arn Anderson, when he started in Delta, was under a mask and was called Super Olympia. Yes, Michael, we were there during part of that time. We were only there for about 6 weeks. And Dad went back because he was not making any money. So he had to leave and go back. Oh, Bill Watts. Who used to call Jerry Stubbs Chrome Dome? My apologies, Mr. Stubbs. Just a trivia question. And that would be Gordon Soley.
Yes.
And you know what? You bring up some bad feelings about that, too. And I've told the story. I ain't going through the story again. But, man, you have brought up some bad stuff. Jack, just go ahead and take over the rest of the program.
Well, join us next week.
Kevin said his number 91 is Buddy Rose. Buddy Rose. Yes, I'll go with Buddy. Buddy was a very good wrestler. Daniel Lang said Mr. Olympia and Miss Wrestling 2 over the Mississippi heavyweight title, while both were baby faces were tremendous. Jason Pistol Pez Watley was the greatest. Yep. Joel Bateman, the Road Warriors are really high on my list. Tag teams, maybe.
Yeah, as a tag team, yeah, they did not make my list here as individuals.
No, Rodney, I don't even have to ask. Road Warriors didn't make Rodney's list. I'm just telling you, I don't think they made his list. I just don't think. Not that they wasn't good for tag teams. They were a major attraction, drew a lot of money in wrestling, and when we do a tag team, by the way, for those of you who want to see it this week on our YouTube channel, we talked about WWE's top 50 tag teams. We didn't make the list. We just told about the list from a television program that WWE did, I think, on the Peacock Network or wherever they're at now on the I think it is Peacock Network. So get over there to YouTube if you've not subscribed and see what we got to say, because we had a really good fun with those 50 people. I won't say anything else about it, but you will if you don't know, You're going to be very, very excited. I'm sorry I didn't have Kevin Sullivan or Bozo Brown on my list. Bozo Brown. If for Joe and Bonnie's show, some didn't know. That's true. I did not know this, but I didn't know Joe Pedicino did NWA Championship Wrestling for Jim Crockett back in 1994 or wherever they did that from. I would, and Bonnie was there as well. Michael Barr, he is Pez Watley and carries a pistol for all who do not know him. Rick Brooks, hello guys, how you doing, Rick? Number 91, Victor Nash. Steve Kern, number 91, Rodney. Steve Kern.
He's on Victor's list.
Jack. Steve
I
Kern.
agree with what Rodney said.
Joe, so thankful for this show. Enjoy this. Sometimes I'm going to make my own personal top 100 now. Yes, go ahead, because I'm telling you, it doesn't matter who's on the list. It's not that important. Some people will get really mad at you when you put somebody over, but it's all about who you believe, and it could be different for everybody. Because some people might not have wrestled, they might not have watched wrestling past 1980. So they may only know guys in the 1960s and 70s. And that's going to be their top 100s. Because we have an age group from the 20s all the way up to 80 or 90-year-olds. So there's going to be completely different lists for everybody. The feud with him and Jimmy Valiant changed to Shaska Watley, which I enjoyed.
Yes.
Victor Nash, we already seen where he says number 91. Mascaras, great-looking body. Yes, he was in great shape. But Jack said he held his stomach in the whole time.
A lot.
Michael says B. Brian Blair.
Brian's
Not
good.
on my list. Not that he wasn't a great wrestler. I've seen some stuff when he was in Florida working, and he was the Florida heavyweight champion. Tremendous stuff. Everything he did looked great. But everywhere else that he worked, it wasn't his fault. Just not good booking for him. Sometimes I think that may be the truth about anything. Just bad booking. They just didn't book him right. Glenn Allen said, then Rodney have Kevin Sullivan. Rodney, you got Kevin Sullivan on your...
He's on the same list with the Road Warriors and Emil Moskowitz.
Jack, we won't ask Jack right now if Kevin Sullivan's on the list. We'll just figure out whether or not he's going to be on the list. And if he does make his list, we'll see if Rodney's head explodes right here live on this.
I may have to change my list now.
Well, we have to say Austin Idol was on his list. So
that's true.
That should give us an idea.
There you go.
Number 91, Arman Hussein. What do you think of Arman Hussein as a wrestler? What do you think him as a manager? I believe I liked him as a wrestler. The stuff I've seen of him wrestling a whole lot better than I liked his managing. I just did not like the managing.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I agree with that.
Rodney?
All I saw him as manager. I don't think I've ever remember seeing him wrestle.
There's some videos. He was one of the first people to bring professional wrestling over to Iraq when Saddam Hussein was there. He actually promoted wrestling over there for a couple of years, but then he got a little scared and would not go back. So we can tell that whole story when we tell more about his career, because he went through like 3 different personalities throughout the years. So Kevin Nash, not on my list at all. Why? Finger pointed down.
Hey, I think we can all have a general consensus here on that.
I think so.
Kevin Nash.
Now, I will point out real quickly that the newest Steve Austin interview is with Kevin Nash. I'm not the biggest Kevin Nash fan either, but this was a very good interview, and everybody ought to watch that.
So wherever is that on the Peacock Network? You can watch
is.
there.
Yeah.
Rodney, Kevin Nash on your list?
I can assure you that those who are listening to the Steve Austin show should bring your notebook and take notes from Kevin Nash. He can teach you all about wrestling.
Robert Grice, our guys in class till Tuesday nights. The rest of July slipped out to say hello. Be back soon. Thank you, Robert. Victor Nash is a public announcement. Thanks ahead of time for the birthday wishes. I turn the big 50 tomorrow.
Well, happy birthday,
happy
Victor.
birthday to Victor Nash. Turns 50 years old. I'm personally 38, and so I will not be getting there for many years.
Hey, I am tickled to death to be 62 because as of 2 days ago, Robert Gibson is now older than me, finally. I'll catch back up with him in March, but right now I'm good.
A bunch of happy birthdays for you, Victor, from a lot of people. Jason said happy birthday. So many people. Joe Bateman said he was 10 in 1977. Victor said, go to YouTube and watch Lucha Underground to see Mil lose a match. Whoa!
That's not Mil Mascaras, is it? No, I don't
think that
so.
might be that other guy.
Mil Mortez.
Yeah, that big man. He's a huge guy.
You know, I thought he was, but I saw some pictures of him. He's only like 6'2".
Oh, I thought he was huge.
I mean, he's huge. Ricky's something. I can't remember. A really nice guy. I talked to him about a year or so ago.
I believe Greg and Victoria Hodge. I truly believe they're trying to give Rodney a heart attack. But we're going to go ahead and show their 93. 93, Austin Idol, number 92, Kevin Sullivan.
Okay.
Good evening, guys.
Some people's lists are better than others.
I'm all right with Kevin Sullivan pre-1985. For some reason, just anything from and when he turned and he wrestled against Steve Keirn in Atlanta, it was horrible matches. I don't think it was Steve Keirn's fault. I think it was Kevin Sullivan's. I think he oversold stuff. He tried to make Steve Keirn look better, and Steve Keirn beat the crap out of him. I don't know why he had to sell it, or maybe he couldn't sell it because Steve Keirn was beating the crap out of him. Not for sure. Wasn't Mascaras a bodybuilder before wrestling? I don't know what he was.
I don't know.
Good evening, guys. Richard Hood, Stuart Kemp, Sky Lolo. Yes, I will go with Sky Lolo. Let's see, Bobby Jaggers. I will go. Bobby Jaggers, tremendous wrestler.
Good.
If you go back, Richard Hood said Billy the Kid. Yes, Billy the Kid is another one. Little Coco.
Coco, yeah.
Little person. Yeah, Haiti Kid.
Yes.
Haiti Kid was.
I like the Haiti Kid.
Greg and Victoria said, after we do the top 100 for men, can we do the top 25 or 50 women wrestlers? Yes. Yes, we can do that. And there's a lot. There's a lot that deserve recognition in professional wrestling. There's no doubt about that. Daniel Lang, Sky Lolo once walked around with Andre the Giant on his back. Philip Thrasher. Hey, Sir Jack, how are you?
Doing good.
Cowboy Lang. Michael said Cowboy Lang. I think he was saying Bruno Sammartino. Richard Hood definitely belongs in a top 100, but I think way down low. Now, I don't believe Bruno Sammartino was as good of a wrestler as a Ricky Morton, as a Bobby Eaton. But when you take how much money he drew in the wrestling business for 8 years, 10 years in New York, he's got to be on the top list. Now, Rodney's acting like Bruno's may not be on a top.
Well, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just thinking about, if you want to talk about great draws, the first thing comes to mind, especially in Birmingham, the Great Kaiser.
I've never actually seen any man pack a concession stand out the way he did.
Joe Hamlin, I can't wait to see Superstar Bill Dundee already been on my list. I believe he was 99 or something, 98.
I thought you opened it up with Bill Dundee.
May have been superstar. Number 100 may have been superstar Bill Dundee. Loved superstar Bill Dundee. Knew what he was doing. He knew how to control the wrestling fans. He knew how to he knew the roller coaster effect in wrestling. Now everybody wants to go like this. They just want. So it's either down here when nothing happening, or they want it up here, and you don't want to do that. You want that roller coaster effect. You want them up. You want them down. You want them up and down. Bill Dundee was able to do that.
Bill Dundee was great. I'll never forget when he was laying in the corner and I was putting boots to him, and he looked up at me very sincerely and said, "Do I owe you money?" But
there is an awesome tag team match with Adrian Street, Miss Linda, and Jim Cornette against Jerry Calhoun and Bill Dundee. Check it out. Really good. Really good stuff.
Richard Hood said Bruno number 90. Greg of Victoria Hodge said we love Jerry Stubbs. Rick Brooks said he's putting Cowboy Bob Orton and Sergeant Slaughter in those two. Sergeant Slaughter, tremendous wrestler, by the way. Bob Orton as well, even though there's a personal thing about Cowboy Bob Orton, what he tried to do in Knoxville, Tennessee. There's just a little bit of personal stuff there. Oh, that. Now, it didn't even have nothing to do with me, but protecting the wrestling business was very important. Arn Anderson, number 8. Richard Hood saying Arn Anderson, number 8. Joel said Muda and Kabuki, both on my list. George said, what did Mil Mascaras do to y'all? He didn't do the job for me there, Ben. I asked him, I booked him, and I asked him to do the job for me, and he told me no. He didn't say no. He said something. And that was all I remember. And he didn't do the job for me. So that's the problem. That's the problem. He was on my list, Ben. It's Rodney and Jack that's got the problem with Mil, not me.
Let me just say that Mil was great as he came down the aisle in his nice robe. Normally it was a cape, and then they had that other mask on, and then they do the introductions, still looking very good. And he takes it off, and he takes that other mask off, and the bell rings, and it goes downhill from there.
Ron said Eddie Gilbert, his number 91. By the way, I'm having to go through and pass through some things because we only have like 3 minutes left. Larry Hamilton Sr. We're going to try to get Larry Hamilton on, probably not next month, which is August, probably sometime in September. We'll try to get Larry Hamilton on, and we'll talk to him about his career in wrestling. Richard Hood said Jerry Oates is his number 1.
Wow, the announcement already. Richard Hood goes all the way.
By the way, yes,
already.
Prayers for Jody Hamilton, Nick Patrick's dad. He is in bad health right now, and
Bobby Eaton's still in the hospital. I talked to his sister today. He's doing better, and Peggy Lee is in the hospital with some health issues.
Wow,
she's awesome too.
Yeah, she is.
Really good.
Yeah. I watched a match with her and Bambi on the day. Tremendous match.
Great stuff.
56 years old, so 1969 for the first time he saw professional wrestling. Kevin asked the question, does Rodney have Dick Hutton, Pat O'Connor, or Jim Lundas on his list?
They may or may not be on that list.
Or may not.
Or may not.
That's the kicker.
Buddy Colt, number 89 for Richard Hood. Victor Nash, Rodney, if I take Kevin Sullivan off my list, you got to put Terry Taylor on your list.
Now you went too far.
Let's see. I think somehow I think Alberto Di Rio is his nephew or something.
Dos Caras is his father. El Hajo de Dos Caras is his brother, who's also an active wrestler now. Mil Mascaras is his uncle. Sedelico is his uncle. And he's got 2 other cousins that are also wrestlers.
Wow.
I believe that Alberto got the crazy gene of all. We out there in left field. I did not say that. Rodney did. If anything, anybody comes back and says something. He's a big old dude, so I did not say it. The spoilers on his list. I think the spoiler would be on as mine as well. 100 was Brad Armstrong, by the way. Glenn
Yes.
said
that's right.
100
That's
Brad
right.
Armstrong. I cannot wait to see if Adrian Streak makes the list. I believe Adrian Streak probably makes my list. I'm pretty sure. Jimmy Allison says Austin Idol is in his top 50. His top 50. Early Austin Idol would be in my deal, but I'm talking 78, 79 Austin Idol. After that, I never saw nothing good from Austin Idol. Whew. He liked to do walk and talk matches a lot, and didn't much care for those. That will eventually kill your territory if you do that. Norvell Austin, number 7, by the way, Richard Hood.
Hey,
Number 7. All right, guys, we're going to have to get off of here. And next week, we will continue with the top 100 list. Monday night. If you are a fan of commentators and professional wrestling, you're going to enjoy this. Southeastern Championship Wrestling and many other shows. Charlie Platt and Les Thatcher on the same show.
And as an added incentive, while Rodney and I will not be on the ship, we will be in the background taking bumps so that they can come.
that's right. That's right. That's right.
It will be a tremendous show, by the way. It will be a tremendous show. Yes,
Now,
right.
Joe Hamlin said that he honestly feels that Bobby Eaton is in his top 50. Not sure if y'all will agree or not, but he's one of my favorites. That's Joe Hamlin.
Bobby Eaton will be on my list, and
Yep.
he's
He's one of the few guys known mostly for tags that made my list.
so yeah. Bobby Eaton does make my list, and we'll see where he's at. Who's on our lists for next week? Well, you'll find out on our Facebook page who my list is, because it'll be you'll have a little bit of graphic, and it'll tell you what we're going to be talking about. Jack, anything we need to talk about before we leave, real quick?
ProWrestlingTees.com. Go buy the shirt.
There you go. And make sure, if you've not got to the YouTube, if you're not watching us on YouTube, make sure you go and subscribe. It's absolutely free. Costs you nothing to subscribe, because coming soon, there'll be some stuff, and there's stuff right now that you can't see on Facebook, but they're truly going to be something you don't want to miss. That's going to be on only on our YouTube channel. Rodney, thank you so much. Jack, thank you so much. And we'll see everybody. Supporters, we're on our way. We're going to talk a little bit about Continental Championship Wrestling, a lot of behind the scenes on our supporter channel later on. And so supporters, get ready for that. And we'll see everybody next week. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Yeah, we'll see everybody next week. And Rodney's getting his list together right now, checking it twice.
That was the
And see if Austin Idol Terry Taylor. Kevin Sullivan is on that list. We'll see you next week right here on Pro Wrestling Inside Now.